Hello, and welcome to another edition of the CBL Changeup. Anybody still trying to get used to that yet? I'm still getting used to it, but it'll get there. I promise. My name is Mark Pare alongside Braeden Ferrington, and welcome back, Neil Srivastava.
Thanks,
Hey,
guys.
Neil, we love to have you back. That chair, it looks so beautiful with you in it. Let's just get right into we'll start off with a life update, just how everybody's doing these days, because obviously we're into February, we're in the midst of this cold spell that doesn't seem to be going away. It feels like baseball is a long ways
Long way
away,
up.
but we got a lot on this episode, including the radio play-by-play voice of the Toronto Blue Jays, Ben Shulman. He'll be on the other side of this, so if you're looking for that interview, hit that fast forward until you get to that point. Maybe I'll put it in the notes where
Yeah.
that actually starts. But you know what? Let's start off with a life update, and just obviously, Neil, you've been away for the last little bit. Maybe just kind of provide us a little bit of an update on just how things have been going in your neck of the woods.
Well, I guess we start off with the elephant in the room because we're basically in a brand new room here. We're down in a different house. So yeah, it's 2 days after moving, really, and it's different. It's really different, and well, there's something missing here too. So yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, and she was a wonderful woman. I love her kids to death. I loved her. I love her still. It's just unfortunately didn't work out for us. So we're in the single man club at age 51
Yeah.
almost. So it's just like, yeah,
Hey,
we're eligible bachelors and just not sure how we should deal with that.
welcome to the club. I know it sucks right now.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the club, Neil. It's great to have you with us, and obviously, baseball also you've been away from it for a little bit. Just beyond what you've been going through, just in your personal life, just what's kind of been your relationship with baseball the last little while?
I haven't really been doing much. I haven't really been putting fillers or anything out there just because, again, I wasn't planning on coming back this year as far as anything goes. But
Yeah,
I'm not going to say never or anything like that, but it's definitely going to be different because, I'm just not going to be obviously traveling as well around as much as I used to either. So it's just like, yeah, it's different. And with my mom's situation too. So it's just like, yeah, it's been let's just say 2026 has not been off to a great start so far. A month and 5 days into it, it's been pretty rough. It's been pretty rough. Well, let's leave it at that. But I want to thank if people have reached out throughout the league and everything else the last couple of days and had some great conversations, had some laughs, which I kind of needed, especially with everything that's been going through my head, my heart, and everything else. It's just like, you know what? Hey, the baseball community takes after themselves, and I really appreciate that.
so you're among friends, Neil, and you always have us to chat with
Well, I
anytime.
appreciate that, guys. I do.
Oh, Braden, you have anything to add?
not much.
Yeah, not much.
Not much. Not much. Uh, yeah, yeah. Join the club here. So,
All right. So
so
we're just three guys having a good time here.
Yep. We're just hitting singles now. Okay.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, three single guys talking some baseball here with the
We
CBL
are.
changeup, and obviously a little bit has happened in the last month or so. Obviously, me and Braden did an episode not too long ago, so we won't kind of repeat some of the names that we've touched on already. But we take a look at some of the signings, and both all nine teams seem to be starting their ramp up towards the 2026 season with some signings, some trades as well. We're actually using the word trades nowadays. It was kind of a taboo thing
Yep.
for many years, but we're actually using the word trade nowadays.
Yep.
We take a look at the signing and the transactions. Who are some of the names that are sticking out to you guys?
Well, I guess I'll go first as far as so Guelph acquiring Ryan DeSantos. Yes, I guess 2 days ago actually. So it's the fourth now. So it's the second. Yeah. So it's Ryan DeSantos going there. They got it. They got the prolific leadoff hitter they need. Guy that's going to work counts, get on base any way he can. and then he's going to make havoc for opposing pitchers out there when he's on the base paths and everything else. He's always a threat to steal bases. He's just going to bring another level to the Guelph Royals as far as that stuff goes, and he's going to be an impact guy. Yeah, he's not going to hit a lot of numbers. He's not going to hit a lot of pop numbers, but he's going to find his way on base. A prolific all-star and just an absolute great guy. I think he's just going to fit well into the Guelph family as far as that stuff goes. And the other one was on the tail end is Matt Fabian going to the Maple Leafs, and he's got a good working relationship with Rob Butler. Butler would throw him batting practice like 7:00 in the morning on a Tuesday, just to keep him everything else. So I think that's a great stable to have in Rob's repertoire as far as the lineup and everything else. And I think the Leafs are it's gonna be a different look Leafs team this year as far as they got Spencer Ross back and they got Luis Florentino as well, and they've got some other guys Mark wants to lead into. The former Kitchener Panther, which he can touch on now if he wants to.
Yeah, Jordan Mandalay getting signed by the Maple Leafs. Obviously had an all-star season with the Panthers before being released just before the transaction deadline. I think that is a major addition to that lineup, to say the very least. One of the best infielders in the league come 2026, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always a power threat, especially if you leave it in the middle of the plate there at Jack Couch. So
yeah,
he's going from one small ballpark to another small ballpark. So I feel like he's gonna feel just at home, just at home. And I don't know, maybe he might have more confidence, honestly, because it's just you get the ball up in the air, especially at Christie Pitts, that the jet stream just takes it. So I feel like he'll be in fine form once the season starts.
Yep.
I think so. Any other signings you guys want to touch on? There's quite a few.
Well,
and a number of different teams have kind of re-added players that have already been part of their system for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'd say there's a pretty big fish out there.
Pretty big fish.
Pretty big.
Pretty big.
Yeah, that's a big fish.
Pretty big fish. I'd say he's like basically your anchor. I would say your ace. I would say he's the guy that you're probably gonna get 7 innings out of, strong 7, not like maybe questionable 7.
No.
Like every team knows who he is, so it's not like it's okay. We might get we might sneak a win today. No, you know what Ben's gonna bring, and typically it's gonna be a win for Welland. So I think that's obviously a big one. Anytime you can add a caliber guy to your starting rotation, you just become more dominant. And as the saying goes, winners win. And Welland just keeps on winning with this one. So
I think of the many times I've seen Ben pitch and everything else, the key to beating Ben has always been you got to get to him early, and then you got to stay on him. But a lot of teams, they'll get onto him for a couple of. He won't give up the 3-run bomb. He'll give up the solo shot here and there, or whatever. But then he'll go back into the dugout and he'll figure things out. He'll figure it out, and he's going to come out there and say, "Okay, next time this guy comes up, he's not getting anything close to what I missed with last time." He just figures it out. So if you're a Welland situation, you got Esri back there going, "Okay, I don't have to worry. Don't have to worry about the bullpen too much." So I'm going to get 6, 7 out of Ben, unless he's going to go as long as he's going to tell me I'm tired or whatever. I'll say it's time to get something up. But he's not going to. What you're going to get. It's going to be as advertised when Ben Abrams is on the hill.
Yeah. And they bring the offense on the other side of it too to provide that run support. I mean, obviously you re-add Brandon Hoope, who not as prolific of a hitter compared to some of their other big boppers in the lineup, but he will provide some timely hitting for you. Brendan Luther's coming back as well. You talk about Smack James Smybert. We've touched on him before. Jonah Weisner too. I mean, there are some guys, and Gio Morello on top of all of that too. So it feels like their main signings so far have been on the offensive end. So to see Ben Abram sign on the dotted line as well to start shoring up that pitching staff is for Welland Jackfish fans. I would imagine that's a pretty good thing to see.
Yeah.
Well, as we know with Jason McKay, he keeps those pitching cards very close to his heart till he has to put them in. So he'll slide them in here, and I guarantee it was like he'll probably send me a text message, say, "Hey, see who we put in?" Just like you get a reaction, just to get a reaction.
There's a little Tio Ortega. I'm going to slide this
Yeah,
down the
just
table here.
Just slide it back in there.
Yeah.
Even that, like for me, like there's a name still out there that I'm actually really surprised that Welland hasn't re-signed yet, and I'd say it's literally their heartbeat of their offense.
Yeah,
Robert Mullen.
Mm-hmm. He did post something on Instagram the other day, and it was in Spanish, so I didn't translate it. So it's like, dang it!
I saw it. We chatted about some things, and I'm curious to when that's happening.
Okay.
So you're saying it's a matter of when, not if, for Robbie at this point, or not to kind of reveal too many details, but
insider here.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Is he going to the WBC, or what's going on there? Like, is this?
Ooh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about that one yet, but
okay. I was just curious that was part of it.
We chatted about some baseball cleats.
Okay.
That are very fish-esque.
Okay. And we kind of like. Are we talking about? Are they in the Welland Jackfish colors? Or are we just talking? They're just fishy.
They're very, very, very Welland Jackfish colors.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means. I don't know. But if I can read between the lines,
yeah.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yep.
I don't want to be an insider here, but
you're being an insider.
You're being an insider. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to get an angry text from Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, yeah.
Why are you leaking this?
Who's your source?
It's only the playoff MVP we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Reveal your sources. No. Go ask him yourself.
Yeah.
You know who my source is at this stage.
Yeah.
I want to touch on a couple of these other signings too. I mean, obviously, you mentioned Ryan DeSantos. You look at Toronto and some of the other guys they brought up. Dennis DeBanning signing, Branfy and Fonte signing with the Barrie Baycats. You look at London; they've made a couple of moves, releasing Adrian Harrison and Ty Mosher. They bring in Kevin Vicuna. But you look at the rest of the Guelph Royals transactions as well. I mean, some of their guys get put on the inactive list, including Kaner Pena and Claudio Custodio. But I think for the Royals organization, you look at some of the guys they brought in, namely Edgar Garcia. That's a pretty big addition for them as well to have him back in the fold in the Royal City.
That it is. I mean, as far as this stuff goes, I was just laughing, like I'm just scrolling through and I saw Kirk Gibson. I'm going, wait, no, it's not that guy. Unlearn that name. Come on, it's not
Zombie
that guy.
Kirk Gibson?
Yeah, no. It's not your World Series hero, Kirk Gibson. It's the other guy. How are the Bushmen doing these days, anyways?
How are the Bushmen? I think they're in hibernation. I think this is their annual hibernation period.
Well, somebody has to go kick the beer keg out from underneath them and get them chatting or something sooner. Better yet, guys, come be a guest on our show.
Yeah. What's the call? What's the call to bring almost like playing the conch to bring in the newscasters? What do you do to bring in the Bushmen? Do you have
you gotta crack some beers or something?
Yeah, you get like you get a left field brew right here. You crack it open. You put like one of those balls that you have for
something like that. Yeah.
For the Guinness, and you just shake it up and say, "Bushmen assemble!" Like,
how do you? They don't have a bat signal, so what do they got?
Beer signal.
People got to know.
Yeah,
people got to know.
Crack.
Is it a Coors Light sign, a neon sign somewhere? What is it? What is it? Inquiring people got to know.
This is where like if they respond back, they got to have a sponsor plug, like Left Field Brewing,
yeah,
you gotta crack those.
Yeah,
come on, marketing 101.
Yeah, exactly. Boys, open it. Consider this an open invite. Come on, we got a lot of time before the season starts. Actually, February, March, April, 3 months. We're over 3 months before the season starts.
I feel like I'm so behind right now because I've been away from it all. It's just like, it's like, what day is this? It's not Christmas. What day is it? Yeah.
Exact same day as yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
Even
weather.
though there's a whole lot of snow on the ground still
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
It's
trust me.
wild.
Since they moved, they had to shovel it twice, and they've only been here 2 days.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
That's,
it's not fun. It is not
No.
fun. Um, to touch on subjects that we touched on in the last episode, first of all, I want to mention Chatham Kent and some of the signings that they've made. A few notable pieces coming back into their fold, including Evan Morrison, who was the heartbeat of their offense last year.
Yep.
Yuri Yokoyama, Garrett Day also coming back to the Barnstormers for 2026, at least signing with the team ahead of the season. So, Chatham Kent is starting to ramp up again from what they were able to put on last year, and obviously now they're hosting the All-Star game this year.
That they are.
And
And, I think it's going to be interesting down there. If well, everybody's been to the park now. Have you been to the park yet, Mark, or no?
no, I'm going down there this year though. That's happening.
All right.
I can
Both
join.
Braden and I have been. Both Braden and I
Yeah.
have been down there. So now it's like, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was nice to see everybody and everything else. I'll put it on my calendar to go, but I'm not sure I'm gonna make that full commitment and everything else. It's just
So he's
I
saying
don't
there's
know.
a come.
Yeah.
We'll call it a comeback. Call it a comeback.
I'm not calling it a comeback, but it's just
I was
I
here
don't
the
know.
whole time, boys. The whole time.
The whole time. I was just sleeping.
Hibernation.
You were in hibernation, just like the
Hibernation, yeah.
Bushmen.
Yeah. It's like the Bushmen, yeah. I'm not saying we're back or anything like that because
No.
technically we had to leave before we're back.
True.
So I posed this question to Brad and Neil during our
Yep.
last episode, and I want to pose it to you now.
Okay.
Since we last posed the question, obviously we were told that we were pretty bang on with some of the predictions. At least
Okay.
Braden was with predictions on these.
Yeah.
The All-Star Showdown, the All-Star Game happening. It's a full weekend. It's a 2-day event. The first day you have the home run derby as well as the skills competition. If you were planning an All-Star Game or even planning like a skills competition for baseball on a given day, what would be the skills in your skills competition?
Ooh, geez, that's a tough one as far as this stuff goes because you don't want to kill a pitcher midway through a season either. So you can't really have a fastest velocity. You can't have like a speed gun. Oh, okay, fine. Fine. You have a speed gun out there. They got to break whatever. Yeah, you have for infielders, you have a target or something at first base. They got it closest to the target or something. Like you can't have the hockey. They don't have like the hockey nets. They don't have the 4 targets or something. Maybe you have something for the catchers to have like a pop-up time or something. You got to hit the targets at all three spots or something. I don't know. As far as some that stuff goes, and then there's obviously some sort of bunt drill or something just to see who can squiv it down the line the best or whatever down the line, push it towards wherever. I don't know, something like that. But it's an interesting thing to have. Let's put it that way. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull it off and what the league has planned as far as that stuff goes. But yeah, it's the first time that there's really a skills component to an All-Star weekend. So it's going to be interesting. And, it makes sense to, kind of have it in a very historic place like Chatham Kent.
Maybe we should get the boys to play the show as one of the skills competitions. Get it away from the athletics and the fields. Let's just
Yeah.
see what your skills are like on the sticks.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, if anybody wants to do a tournament this year, like by all means, I got time. So by all means, hit me up. It's not too hard to find me.
Oh, gotta love it. Switching gears, the Guelph Royals announcing just shortly after the CBL was established that they're in the search for a new owner or owners.
Mhm.
I was talking with Ted Kalnins, the commissioner of the CBL, just as the CBL was being established, and obviously saying that the expansion fee would be $1 million, but the Guelph Royals, it's a turnkey operation. You basically get it as is, and they're ready to go.
Mhm.
They're already doing some work on the roster, and they're getting set for the 2026 season. So it seems like it's still full steam ahead, despite what this sale process is going to be. But obviously, as we know, Sean Fuller is now out in Newfoundland with his family, and has told me on a couple of occasions that, hey, I want to get this into the hands of a local person or
Yeah.
persons
Oh,
to
exactly.
run this team, to have somebody on the ground. David Schooley, who is the part owner of the Kitchener Panthers, is helping him facilitate this sale.
Mhm.
Initially, had it posted as a $750,000 sale. Since then, it has been broken down into, hey, if you want to buy a 10% stake in it for
Yep.
$75,000, that is applicable. That has
Mhm.
always been the case, from what I have learned from Mr. Schooley and the organization as well. So that is basically where things stand
Yep.
right now with the Guelph Royals organization. You can buy multiple shares if you would like.
Yeah.
Up into the 100% stake of 750,000. But if you want to get in on the ownership team, 10% for 75,000 is
Yeah. Oh,
basically what the
exactly.
number's at right now.
Oh, exactly. And you look at how Ted Lasso ended and everything else, where Rebecca sold off the shares for the club and everything else. So, maybe they go even maybe they make it a little smaller, and maybe you get more of a little more bang for the buck. Maybe you get some people that are say, "Hey, I can't go that high, but I can probably buy like a percentage or something for X number of dollars," and maybe that's something you do. Maybe you turn it into a legitimate community ran program here. It's not an idea. It's an idea.
Yeah, and it's not out of the norm either. We have
Yeah.
seen, multiple groups that are out there that have, I have this percentage, I have that percentage
Yep.
of this team. You don't really see too many of these organizations, particularly at this level, that just have one sole owner, really, or
Yep.
even just one family owning the whole, kit and caboodle. You have ownership groups that are doing
Reminds me.
this together.
Reminds me, I got to check with Sean Fuller if I still own that 1%. Because actually, I did at one point own 1% of the Royals because it was, again, just how we got around some league rules and everything else as far as an owner has to be at certain meetings. So I bought in
Hey,
for. I
So
bought
is
in. I don't know if it's still legit or not. So I never
What's
sold it
what's the
back.
what's the interest like on that 1%? Are you up to the
Yeah.
10% now, or
No, are you kidding me? Not after the last week. Not after the last week, man. My bank account's going, what the hell did you buy?
oh my god.
oh
Oh,
wow.
Oh,
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 that's basically where that's at.
yeah, that's
We'll
pretty much it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll touch on some of the other teams that have done some stuff lately. Obviously the Kitchener Panthers continue to be busy, not necessarily on the transactions list
Mhm.
as of late, but slowly and surely, putting out some of the transactions that have already taken place. They did a lot of their
Yeah.
business beforehand. Um, any other teams we haven't really touched on at this
Well,
stage?
I guess we got to really talk about the Hamilton Cardinals because I keep getting asked by people, what's going on with the Cardinals? I don't
yeah.
know. I honestly don't know. Eric and I have not spoken since September. I've spoken to people at Cable 14. We've talked, but we haven't really came to any conclusion or anything. So, like, hey, Eric, you got my number. Let's sit down. Let's chat. Let's see where things are at. Because as much as it's going to be different this year, I think my heart would still like to be involved in some capacity somewhere.
Mhm.
Not stressing myself out like I did last year with social media and everything else. But I
The
think
game the game has just a way of bringing you back in, right? Like
Oh yeah.
that's what the
it
game of
does.
baseball does.
And like I'm sitting here unpacking things and coming across like, yeah, do we have that book somewhere? Like, I think it's like, yeah. Where did I put it? I think I put it away. So
Uh,
I was given a book of old newspaper clippings. They're from 1957.
Mm.
They're all IBL teams. They're all like stories and stuff like this. Like I was going through it yesterday because it was one of the totes. I was just like, yeah, I hadn't dealt with it and everything else, so I cracked it open and I was looking through it and going, wow, like I'm sitting on a gold mine here. Like as far as like stuff that probably hasn't been seen since whoever I can't remember who gave this book to Billy Craven, but I got it when he passed. And it's
mm,
just been like, okay. So it's been sitting in my boxes as I've moved through my life and everything else. I'm going like, I gotta go call a Scott Crawford. I gotta call somebody and say, here, you need to take this, put this somewhere. You guys have the facilities / the technology to scan it. it's not the greatest condition as it is, but there's old photos from like 1954 in there, and there's other stuff too. It's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, like maybe it was a sign yesterday when I just happened to open that box.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, maybe it's not time to just tap out as far as this stuff goes. Maybe there's something I can do. Whatever, I don't know, but just where I'm at, and as far as everything else goes, a lot of things are very fresh right now, so it's gonna take some time.
Absolutely. But obviously 3 months until the regular season begins, and still a lot of time to figure everything out in terms of the baseball of it all.
Yeah.
Braeden, I'm putting you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
What's your summer plans so far?
Well, technically still playing, I guess. Yeah, playing for the senior team. Pardon?
You're still coaching?
Yeah, still gonna be coaching. Yeah, I go back to that team as of, I guess we're filming on the 4th, so I get to see them whatever on that Saturday, the first time in a bit. So it'd be fun to see them and see their reactions to me showing up. That'll be entertaining. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Putting me on the spot. Let's go with. I did put out a social media post the other day about creating / designing a new glove for me. I need a new game.
I remember seeing this.
What?
Need a gamer.
Let's get into that as well. Just while we're kind of on the subject, I know you wanted to touch on a little bit of baseball gear.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So my current game glove, I have to replace that. I'm not going to state why I need to replace it, but for the ones that know, they definitely understand why I need to replace it. Yeah. So I thought, what better way than to throw it out there and get people involved in this, because this whole baseball community thing is great. It stretches out across the world, essentially, especially on my social media platform. It's been cool because like I've had people send me glove designs already, and I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool, like where your thought process is, and I'm a nerd, and it's kind of cool to see what other people can kind of come up with.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just interesting, and just to have that connection base, right? Because I have a lot of free time right now. So kind of cool to reconnect with people or just connect in general. But yeah, like I'm a glove guy, as a lot of people know, especially Anne. She loves seeing my new gloves every year.
Yeah.
I would love if Anne could make me a design. That'd be kind of cool.
You'd have to include some cowbells, though. Like,
yeah,
something.
I think so. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I had one submission by basically a good friend of mine. She has a kid. She sent me basically a hand-drawn design.
It's amazing.
And I kind of like, you know what? It's kind of cool. I'm gonna pull it up here. Actually, I'll describe it first. So for most people that know my time in the IBL, they know I love Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I like this already. I've got an idea myself now.
So this child, first off, found out I was a part of this Tubi television docuseries. And she's very into softball right now. Like she's 9 years old and absolutely locked in. And she's kind of like on that starstruck stage, like, how does mom know this guy? And I'm like, well, we went to high school together. Like it's just like we were high school friends, and then she had kids, and then like I went off to college, did some cool things. And now like she's buying her kid stuff. And I'm like, this is so cool. And like the daughter just like immortalizes me right now, which is so cool. And so I received this image, and I was like, this is the coolest thing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, look at that.
So
yeah.
Is that licorice?
Well, Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids.
I mean, okay.
Some of the laces,
around the laces.
Yeah. So me being an absolute loser and a nerd for this stuff,
Yeah.
I obviously had to reach out to a really good company that I deal with, and I know the ins and outs of that brand very well. And I actually sent them this image, and I was like, how, like, I'm not going to say she won, but how does one, like, I know how it gets done.
Yeah.
I know how it gets done, but obviously I got to go around the whole legal thing, because if it gets out there, it's going to be just sent everywhere.
It's a trademark, and you know, you have the people worse than Toblerone wherever went after one of my buddies.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious on how this could be a thing, or I don't worry about like the actual Sour Patch Kid designs on the glove, like do the color schemes.
Like if you can make the, you know how the hair is on those Sour Patch Kids, but you can make the hair each one on the glove hole things,
right? And that's kind of
the eyes, the eyelets, and everything else, and just the face. The face part is the glove hole.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious on how it's all going to shake out. Yeah, I've had some wild designs. I'm just like, some of them I'm like, okay, like not my style, but I can't be mean.
No.
But then this one kind of like got me thinking a lot of things. I'm like, I wonder what could be. And I have a really good friend. His name is Devin, DC Gloves Online. You haven't checked him out or know about his thing. He is like a glove artist. So he hand dyes gloves. He does some cool things with gloves and leathers. And I'm like, I wonder if there's a way artistically to get a glove done and then him to kind of figure out how to, because you know, like Sour Patch Kids, like the little sour like sugar on it. If there's a way he can put like a sour sugar glaze on a green glove or a blue glove and then just like have it as such. I don't know. I haven't even talked to him. I'm just thinking of.
But I'm just thinking of the. I don't think of the umpires are going to come and say, "Is this glove even legal?" Because they're going to scratch it on it, going, "He's got an abrasive thing on. He's got a walking emery board out there for crying out loud."
And what I'm going to say is, listen here. I used a clear glove once upon a time, and this is better than that. So we're good to go. Walk back and call balls and strike. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I have some cool glove designs coming out personally for retail sales. I'm really excited. Those were submitted today.
Nice.
We'll see how it works. We'll see. There's 6 gloves of each series, so there's 12 gloves in total. So
nice.
I'm curious on how it's going to work out. Usually it works very well for me on this artistic journey, but this one's different, and just looking forward to seeing them in my hands, so to speak. But going back to the glove design stuff, I'm cool with people sending me DMs on this or Instagram or whatever platform. I don't care. I don't know what the reward is if I choose your glove. I don't know. Am I coming cool out of my room here? Am I get an old gamer? I don't know. I don't know yet.
Maybe get one of your old gloves off behind. We got to pick one of the gloves from behind you.
Yeah, you might get one of those. Who knows what's going to happen here? I haven't figured it out. Maybe I have some. I know I have some extra, brand new major stuff that I am willing to part with. So I don't know. Maybe some good London Majors fans want to step up here and get some free merch. It'd be nice.
So I'm looking forward to April, because again, I'm just waiting to see what between Welland and London, who can top who as far as the April Fool's joke this year. I'm waiting for that.
I don't think that's going to be a competition.
Yeah,
I just don't.
No,
you can't dethrone the master classman.
No,
you can't do that.
No,
nope.
You try.
You try. You can't.
I don't know if you can do it though.
No shot.
Oh. And again, how do you top what actually occurred last year?
Well, exactly. How do you do that, Matt? How do you do that? How do you do that, Ryan?
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what Ryan comes up with. Matt has a lot he's coming up with.
Yeah.
I've seen some cool things that he's kind of.
Mhm.
I don't know if I should say that.
No, you probably said too much. We're gonna get yelled at anyways.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff. I'm curious to see what Ryan comes up with because he's a marketing genius.
Yeah.
He never swings and misses.
Nope.
Well, not as of late. So
Not as late. There's been that one or two promotions that they just don't ever talk about again. They just swept it under the rug and never happened.
Yeah. Yep. Step Brothers Night.
The Argyle sweaters. Oh God.
Those jerseys are yikes.
Oh man. The Catalina wine cruiser. Oh yikes. Were they even they looked like they were hot to even put on.
Yeah. They look itchy.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Oh man.
I appreciate it though. But
yeah.
Overall product great, but I think
there are some things.
You might be batting 400. Congratulations, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Oh darn. Only 400.
Only 400. Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about baseball. You could swing and miss more often than you actually crank homers or drop down those bunt singles, and you're still one of the best of all time.
Crazy thoughts.
So crazy.
Deep Thoughts by Mark Pare.
Yeah.
Deep thoughts. Here's a deep thought for you. Ben Shulman is on the other side. Stay with us. You're watching and listening to the CBL Changeup. Don't go anywhere. Hey there, everybody. Mark Pare here from the CBL Changeup. The 2026 Canadian Baseball League season is right around the corner, and we want you to be informed and stay informed on anything and everything CBL related. Our podcasts are going to be ramping up over the next couple of months, whether it is the latest news on and off the field or just bringing in some special guests like the one that will be joining us on the other side of this very commercial break. Don't miss any of it by hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button wherever you are tuned in, whether it is YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or X, if you're so inclined to call it that these days, or on Instagram. You can follow us anytime on any of those platforms. And if you want to be a CBL Changeup sponsor, reach out to us anytime, and you could actually be filling this very spot right now. See, I'm talking right now. This could be you talking, or this could even be me talking about your favorite products. It's up to you. We can negotiate a deal, but reach out to us anytime. Now, the rest of the show. Welcome back to the CBL Changeup. Mark, Braeden, and Neil here with you, and we have a special guest with us. He is the radio play-by-play voice of the Toronto Blue Jays on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, among other notable ventures. We'll get into all of that as we move along in this, but Ben Shulman joins the show. Ben, welcome, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I thought we'd already get into the former voice of the Baycats. That's where I'm most comfortable. But no, thanks for having me on, guys. Really excited.
Yeah.
Well, we're still trying to adjust from IBL to CBL, so apologies.
Right. We're a little behind on that one. So.
We'll start just very quickly on the Blue Jays, just with obviously we're taping this on February 4th. Pitchers and catchers reporting next Wednesday on the 11th. Feels like the Game 7 of the World Series was just yesterday, but right back into it. What's the offseason been like?
Yeah, quick, very quick. Like nothing I've ever had before. Baseball in general already, I think, is up there with any sport for eating up most of your year. When you think about, if you have to go down or if you get lucky enough to go down in February and then go all the way to the end of September. Now, when you had a full month on the back of that, I mean, technically it was November 2nd when the season ended because it was past midnight in the 11th inning. It's been fast for me on a personal level, had to get all the off-season chores and everything that I plan to do when the season's done a little bit quicker, but it's been a lot of fun, done a lot of basketball. And like you guys, it feels like yesterday to me. I only probably I wouldn't say got over it because I don't think you ever get over those things, but kind of moved past it and toward the next season probably about a month ago, I would say, was when I started to really, maybe when the calendar changed, I started to really look toward 2026. But 2025 was awesome too, and it's I would not trade in a longer off season for that. It was well worth it.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people were glued to the TVs watching your dad do the play-by-play on the television side. I was actually on the road back into Kitchener because I had to do a game in Owen Sound in the Ontario Hockey League. So I had a 2-hour drive during Game 7. So I was listening to you while Bo Bichette hit his 3-run home run in Game 7. And I mean, honestly, I was fist bumping. I was making sure I wasn't swerving off the road. It was a night, but you definitely provided quite the soundtrack for my drive home. So personally, thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. One thing I don't think about that I probably should more is that if I like scream really loudly all of a sudden because a big play happens, someone is in their car on the road. I never really think about that.
It's like, oh crap, we're gonna cause an accident. No,
don't sue me if you get into an accident. I'm not responsible. But it was incredible. I mean, that moment, obviously it doesn't end up being the moment we thought it might have at the time, but when it happens, it's just the moment it is. And that's, I mean, I've never been a part of anything like that. Even as crazy as the Springer home run was in the ALCS, which is probably like 1A to that. Yeah. Game 7 of the World Series go-ahead home run could be, and turns out was, the guy's last game with the franchise for now, at least. I mean, it was storybook, to be honest.
No question.
Now, the fact of the matter is, you're going from the Barrie Baycats just before the pandemic, and now you're basically at the pinnacle of a baseball broadcasting career, where you're calling a game in the World Series, Game 7. What would you tell your 2018, 2019 Barrie Baycats self?
Yeah, I would probably tell him to enjoy all of it even more. I think at times when I was younger, I was really focused on just, I need to get better. I need to get better. I need to get better. And I did still have so much fun at so many of the different stops that I've been at in my career, or I wouldn't have even been a career at that point. I was just getting started when I was doing the Baycats, but it's so much fun. And I just think, like, I didn't even realize how much fun I was totally having, just learning. And, there were times where there were 8 people listening to me on a Baycats game. And one year, because of the program I was using, like, I could see who those 8 people were and see their names, and they're interacting with me in the chat. Like, I call a home run and someone's mom is messaging in the chat because her son hit it. And so it was such awesome experiences. I think that would be the main thing I would probably tell myself, is just, enjoy it, because it really was those 2 years in Barrie, and then years I had at Syracuse University or calling for other teams in between before I got to the Blue Jays. It was some of the most fun experiences of my life.
So when you're working with your dad, like, how is it? Do you feel like you have to bring your game up to his level all the time, or is it just kind of, okay, it's just that I'm just hanging out with my dad, we're talking baseball? Is it where do you feel like you have to elevate yourself?
Good thing is, like, I don't hear him during the game. That might spook me a little bit more, I would say, if I but we have like a floor of separation, and it is a funny thing. Like, people often ask if he critiques my broadcasts a lot, but he hardly ever hears them, because he's doing TV while I'm doing radio. He'll go back and listen. Sportsnet 590 The Fan Twitter puts out highlights, so he might listen to that every once in a while. I'll probably go watch the Blue Jay highlights again for pleasure, if not just to hear his calls also. But it's not a ton of pressure, I would say. He's never put a lot of pressure on me. He never steered me towards this, I would say, in any way. Once I was interested, then he was like, okay, well, here's some things I think you should do to help yourself out. But it's been unique, I think, probably in some relationships like this where it could get strained. But to give him a lot of credit, he has not really placed any pressure on me whatsoever. And made it clear to me early on that to be a success in this business was not necessarily where you're broadcasting games at. I mean, there are tons of people who are great doing games anywhere right now. They might be at the highest level, they might not be. There's just, there's such a randomness, and there's so few spots that I think he just kind of just gave me more confidence, I would say, than pressure in that respect.
Nice.
We touched on just obviously the relationship that I have with the Bowen family, and the one thing that I talk with David all the time about is trying you basically being a second generation broadcaster, and obviously having a dad that is so well known and so well respected in the industry. And one of the things that's very common is about trying to be a part of that legacy, but at the same time trying to find your own voice at the same time too, because really you just don't want to be, Dan Shulman 2.0. You want to be Ben Shulman and kind of set your own path, if you
Yeah.
will. What's that kind of been like for you over the last few years in terms of trying to find your own broadcasting style and just trying to define who Ben Shulman is as a broadcaster?
Yeah, it really it goes back to my time in Barrie and then at Syracuse, and to relate it to the last question, early on especially, I had like no feedback coming from my father at all. It was kind of I was so early that it wasn't. He can help me out with some really high level stuff. It wasn't. I needed basic stuff, and he didn't need to be involved in that necessarily. And we both were in agreement that, like you said, you want to be a part of that legacy in a way. Like you certainly, I don't want to stray away from him. I think he's a great broadcaster, and and I would like to sound like him in many ways, but I don't want to sound exactly like him.
No, you don't.
So it comes a lot with me. I think going out and listening to just more broadcasts around when I was in college, going to school in the US, I think was an eye opener a bit in terms of there's just so many networks calling so many games there. And you just get, I can just turn on, like I can turn on a Winthrop game, let alone Duke Blue Devil. I can turn on any college and hear so many people. So just finding all these different influences and frankly, early on, I think you kind of steal a little bit when you're in college and you try some things out and you don't end up stealing it exactly anyway. So you end up, even if you didn't on purpose, adapting it and it all gets molded together. And so he's definitely a big influence on it. But what I've done to try and make sure that I'm not a carbon copy is just make sure that he's an influence on it, not the sole influence on it, because I think people would be a little bored, frankly, if it was just, and I'm not going to be as good at doing what he does as he is. I'm just not. I think he's too good at it. So if I tried to do him, I would just be a worse version, and it would just, you'd be like, oh, we're getting 60% as good of the same thing today. I know our voices might sound the same, but I hope in the things we talk about and the way we talk about them, that maybe it comes off a bit different. Again, not afraid of sounding like him, but a bit different.
Yeah. So here's a random question. Honestly, I don't think you've ever been asked this one.
I like it.
Me as a player, I remember when you and your dad called a game in Barrie.
Yep, I remember that.
I played in London. So when that game happened, we were the next game after. And me knowing you, who you are, and what you did for Barrie, I obviously didn't know who your dad is. Can you take the viewers that are going to be watching this back to that day and knowing how you were feeling going to the field with your dad to call a game?
Yeah, that's the first time we would have ever called anything together. We still to date have only actually sat on a broadcast together once since then. So it's only happened twice. We've called a lot of the same games now, even before the Blue Jays. We did some of that with college. But so that day, a couple of weeks in advance, I don't think it was my idea. I think it got proposed by someone from the Baycats who said, like, hey, he comes down, why don't you guys do a thing for Father's Day? He was in. I wasn't super nervous in the lead up because the whole week leading up, as you guys may know, it's a little bit easier to find information and stories and stats on Major League Baseball players than on any other league. This is not any league. The 2018 Intercounty Baseball League, or CBL now. But so he's like, he has no idea where to look for any of this stuff. And hasn't, since the internet came out, he's been doing Major League Baseball. So hasn't figured out.
It's not like he's got point streak on speed dial or Morel's numbers saying, hey, Herbie, I need stats from this guy for the last 6 years.
Yeah, point streak is probably not in his regular. No. So he's freaking out. Then we get to the day. We're driving the 400, I want to say. and there was a huge traffic pileup, like enough that we would leave there to get more than early in time, enough that it was starting to threaten if we were going to make first pitch in time. And he's getting very nervous at this point.
I just can't picture your dad getting nervous about anything. Like,
it's fun, I know, but he was getting very nervous. He's, you know, because he just didn't want, you know, we promised that we would be there and this, and you know, he's freaking out. I'm 17, so I'm really not worried about anything at that point. I'm just having a great time in life, and I'm like, we'll get there. It'll be fine. I believe it was the Kitchener Panthers who were playing that day. I could be wrong, and I think it was. Yeah, I think it was their bus that was the problem. Looking back at it, so at some point we got to
always their bus. It's always their bus.
Or if it wasn't, they were trapped in it. Regardless of it, we got a call being like, the game's not going to start before you guys. There's not a single Kitchener Panther there. So we get there. Eventually we end up doing the game, which was pretty cool. I mean, it's cool in Barrie. I don't know. I haven't been in a couple of years now, but you would have to. Originally, I was calling games from the stands, and then you have to walk up through the stands later to get to the broadcast booth. Yeah. So it was cool to kind of walk in the booth, and some people that had been there to see him, you know, were right there and got to talk to him there. And then the game started, and honestly, I think once the game starts, it's the most natural thing probably to him or I that you could have. Like, we would have sat talking very similarly, watching the Blue Jays play the Rays or whatever, and the same thing when the Baycats played the Panthers. And so that part was the easiest part. Once we got on, you know, and he obviously, me being 17, he probably like did some things that I didn't realize then that made it easier for me to call the game and set me up in ways that helped me out. But that was fun. That's an unforgettable one. I know he really loves that, and we still have some pictures that we have from that day too.
That's awesome.
How difficult was the internet when you guys got there? Because I've done a couple of games at the old Barrie Stadium there, and I was always warned on the bus, make sure you got all your stats compiled and ready to go before you get into the plaza, because you're not getting much internet access there.
So I will say, and maybe it's again, I don't want to out anyone. I don't know the current policies, but when I was the home broadcaster, I had a very reliable wired internet source when I was. I don't know if that still exists. I think I was bringing my own Ethernet cable, but at the same time, I'm sure they have an Ethernet cable. So that's. But I don't want to say they're doing anything wrong, because I don't know. The park has changed a little bit since I was last.
I might have to have a couple of conversations there when I get up there next.
I don't want to get, I'm pro Baycats at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now that we're on the Baycats, I got to ask, just to kind of start it off, how did that begin for you?
It's great. Guy that I met in that stage of my life, Dante DeCaria, who was calling the Baycats for a couple of years before me, and just a wonderful person. And he was getting to a point where he had gotten another job, I believe was the story, and so he could do a couple Baycats games, but he got the job a little late, and they needed someone to fill in some games, and ended up reaching out to me through someone, I forget who. And I had really never called much of anything before that point, to be honest. I certainly not full baseball games before. So he, came and did the first one or two with me, just to make sure I wasn't like completely drowning, and could kind of know the equipment too, to make sure it got out on the air. And then it sprungboard from there for 2 years. And most of those tail end seasons of the 6 championships in a row, I got to do some very, very good Barrie Baycats team, was rarely lost on the games that I was calling.
Yeah, they didn't lose too many. That I think was 2018. I think they only lost like 5 games all year or something. I think it was like that. It was like, it was quite the run. I remember that team very, very.
Yeah, I was reporting for the Panthers 2018, 2019, so I remember those 2 seasons, and I was on the field for the last 2 championship runs and interviewing Angus Roy and the trophies being given out. And I do remember, obviously, 2018 probably highlighted by the infamous bat flip 2.0 Starlin Rodriguez.
That's never going away, is it?
It's one of the great bat flips of all time. I mean, it's
really
odd
with that one. Dang.
I can tell you that I interviewed Luke Baker, the manager of the Panthers, post game after that happened, and I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of veins sticking out here. He wasn't
Yeah.
too thrilled on
No.
how everything kind of went out, but
It's a great rivalry.
yeah,
You know, for a
great
couple of years
rivalry.
there, it was a really good rivalry.
Well, they were the two best teams at the time, and they had Riley and oh geez, who else was there? Pietrasco was there. Who
Yep.
else was there?
Castaldo was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like those guys were just like they were juggernauts. It was hard to beat those teams, that's for sure.
Yeah. I still see Baycats center fielder and often leadoff hitter Glenn Jackson works
Right.
for the Blue Jays.
Forever Jacks,
So,
yes, he
yeah,
does.
I still see Glenny J all the time. I bet you I
yes.
see him 100 times a summer.
Yeah. He's a great guy. We go way back. He was actually I think he was one of the first guys I signed as a GM way back when in '97 for the Guelph Royals. I was like way back when. So yeah.
What did you know about the IBL before you got into the broadcast booth there?
I knew a little bit. When I was a kid, I went to at least one or two. Like I would go to some Toronto Maple Leafs games, so I knew a little bit, and just being a kid, when we would go there, I would ask enough to just have a general idea of what the league was, and so I didn't know a ton of specifics, but I knew that it was a Southern Ontario league that it had a really long history, and essentially was told like, hey, where the Maple Leafs play as a kid.
Yeah,
they've been playing baseball there for a really long time was basically what was drilled into me. And then once it became an opportunity to actually do it, then I knew a little bit more. But where I was in Vaughan was a little bit out of the way. Even Christie Pitts was probably about 30 minutes from me.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like right beside me all the time. Once I started to go out, drive just a little bit north, like if I was 15, 20 minutes further north, I would have seen a whole lot more in terms of Barrie and Kitchener and all these teams.
Okay. What's your impression of where the league's at now?
It's really
much
cool.
different.
It's really cool, I think, to watch it. It has expanded and grown, I think, in some huge ways that I didn't necessarily see coming at the time. Looking back now, you could see more people getting around and covering the team. And I know, from the Baycats perspective, that their own team operations were starting to get bigger and bigger, and it was attracting more people. So I think it's awesome. I mean, it's really cool, I think, to have the opportunity for guys to play here in really high quality environments with lots of people covering it and lots of people involved. I think it's great for Canadian baseball. I kind of think, 10 years ago, you saw Canadian basketball like bubbling, and there weren't necessarily all these MVP caliber players there are now, but there were a lot of good guys. And I think we're in that kind of area right now in baseball where a lot of, like there's a lot of, either fringe all-stars or each team, it feels like, has a Canadian in the majors. And I just think the more that leagues like the CBL continue to grow, I mean, it just makes it easier for Canadians to get involved, and maybe we can mess around and win one of these World Baseball Classics someday.
One of these days.
Maybe.
You never know.
Never know.
So what's going on with you for the next two couple of weeks? Are you heading down to spring training? Are you staying in Toronto and calling things, or what's going on as far as your prep in the next couple of weeks?
I will be headed down to Florida. I'll be excited in about 2 weeks from when we're recording this. I'll be getting on a plane and going down to Dunedin, and I'll be there pretty much wire to wire. Some people are in and out, but my schedule is clear for baseball once we hit the start of spring. So you'll see a mix. I'll be some of the TV games. That'll be a mix between me and my dad, and then the radio games that they play on the weekend, or they still stream them online on the app, I think, audio wise during the week. There'll be those games available too. So yeah, in 2 weeks, my life for 8 months turns pretty much back into 90% baseball, but that's how I like it. That's what the life it shows.
Yeah.
What's it like working with Chris Leroux, former IBLer Chris Leroux?
Oh yeah. And he mentions it. It's great.
How often?
Honestly, I'm sure it comes up at least a couple times over the last couple seasons, because if anything IBL comes up, he'll slide it in there. But it's been great working with Chris. I mean, we didn't know each other a ton before we ended up doing games together. We had both been filling in for a year or two prior, but didn't really line up that we did any games together, but he's turned into like a great friend, really cool guy, and just so fun, I think, to call games with. Like very laid back and and just happy and optimistic. I mean, in 25, like frankly, sometimes it's easy to call games when a team is that good. It's just so exciting and fun, and there's so many good things to talk about. But in 24, like Chris saved the broadcast a couple times, probably. He's just I can get in a bit of a spiral, and he can pull me out of it pretty well, and likes throwing some jokes around and taking it too. So he's been great. Really, really cool to learn from him. And the first pitcher, I think, that I've called games with. So kind of interesting to get that side of it, because a lot of catchers around Sportsnet, which is great. Yeah, which is all aspects of the game. But I was like, you know what? Cool to work with a pitcher.
Yeah. Pitchers are a little weird at times, but
they are. And he's a pitcher, but he was a catcher in college. So it's like he got drafted to the majors as a catcher. So he's kind of like a 50-50.
Yeah.
He's got both perspectives. That's for sure.
Yeah. He could hang, like, he could be like the bridge, probably like the Chris Bassett between the two sides.
Yeah. So we got to ask this because Mark got stuck with a lot of blowouts last year because Kitchener wasn't that great at times. So how do you fill time in a one-sided affair, especially on the radio? Like, how do you keep it interesting? How do you keep it light for God knows how many more innings you'd be stuck there when it's 23-5 in the fourth inning?
Well, first off, I can't say I'm too disappointed that Kitchener had a tough year, but there is always this season. But
I call games for Guelph too, so I don't get as many.
That's true. You know what? I think when the games turn into the blowouts, sometimes it's when you have the most fun, honestly. And it sounds weird. And sometimes it doesn't really matter which way. I mean, the Jays got blown out a bunch of times this year. Great baseball teams get blown out in 162 games. It just happens. And so that's when, like, I found a weird story about, Kobe Mayo and Adley Rutschman have like a Lego battle on the Orioles. They used to. And that's when I can use that story. I can't. There's some stories that I really like or are really funny, but they're too long or they're a little bit too weird. But when you get to an 8-run game in the 7th inning, you can kind of go anywhere. Like, you're just kind of if the people are still on with you, they're probably riding out the whole thing. And so you can, and they're probably there for you at this point. I mean, I'm assuming they're not there for the 11-0 score. So
no, not usually.
I think you just kind of have fun with it. And, if you miss a pitch, you just go back and say after that, that last fastball was a ball, and then you keep going on with your story. So I don't want one every day. And there are times when you have a run of blowouts. Like, I did the TV series in Colorado last year. On TV, it's a little more awkward. And I mean, those were blowouts on blowouts. Like, those were really ugly. So that's when it almost gets awkward. And, you kind of wish that someone could wave a white flag. But on the radio, it's great. The radio, you mess around. On TV, you got to be a little more serious. So you just try and find, why does this at bat matter for this guy right now? Maybe he's in a slump. Maybe, I don't know, this or that. Maybe he's working on hitting a breaking ball and he just hit a curve or something.
Yeah. No, I kind of have a policy when I'm going to a game, no matter what sport. Usually I like to get to the park or the rink or whatnot. It's usually about 2 hours beforehand. What's kind of your game day look like, and when do you feel the most comfortable when you arrive, kind of thing? Like, are you kind of a 2 hours before first pitch kind of guy, or?
So for Blue Jays, to a certain extent, I would say it's non-negotiable, depending on if you want to go to Clubhouse or not, because Clubhouse is going to open up at around 3:15 for a 7 o'clock game.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, you could, and I live close, you could go and you could walk back home and then you could go back again if you wanted to. But at that point, you're not gonna. No. So typically I'm getting to the ballpark around 3, something like that. I'll do the rest of my work from home, but then you go down to the clubhouse. You got about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, maybe even an hour of that. You got about 15 minutes with John Schneider. And then it becomes a little bit more up to you. It's probably, I don't know, 4:30 at this point. And, now are you going to go do your book? Or are you going to, see if there's any stragglers out on the field right now to try and talk to, or this or that. And so for me, typically, I'm going to stay down on the field, start to try and get the guys coming out early, that are hitting BP. Maybe they're stretching or throwing right now, and it's a good time to talk to them, and then go up, fill out the book, eat some dinner, and get ready to go. But you arrive at 3:15, but to me, it almost feels like my day starts when I walk into the booth to actually do my book. Like, to a certain extent, that's when I, like, quote unquote, lock into what I'm doing. And that's probably more like 5:30 or 2 hours or an hour and a half before.
That's
so I got to ask which book you're using, because
it's got to be the Bobby Carpenter.
It's got to be Bob's.
Okay. Yeah. Congrats to him on a great career, by the way.
Absolutely.
I hope he keeps selling the books, but I think he is still selling the books.
I was just happy we could finally get them in Canada a couple years ago. So it was just like, hey, we don't have to get somebody to smuggle one back anymore.
I'm about halfway through my Bob Carpenter that I ordered a couple of years ago. The IBL doesn't have as many games, but how many Carpenter books have you been through at this stage?
At least 4. Well, so because one major league season will kill it with spring training and especially with a playoff run. So, like, last year's is done. I can use 20-ish pages for spring training, which I might, but I might not sully that book, to be honest. I might go to an old one. And then I would have killed one in 24. 23, I didn't do that many games, but I bet I did a full minor league season in 22 and then Cape Cod League seasons before that. So I would say I've probably at least gone through 4 Carpenters thus far, and basically on a, like, disposable per season rate now, which is great for Bob Carpenter, because I just keep buying them from him. So
Bob's just gonna make a bunch of money as retirement here. We're paying for his retirement fund. Come on.
His pension's just covered by the rest of us.
Exactly. So I gotta ask about the 18-inning game. Like, how did you guys how'd you keep it together, first of all? Because it was just like, I'm at home watching and everything else going, I gotta get some sleep. I gotta know how this ends and everything else. But I can imagine the scorebook. Like, did you go through 2 pages like your dad did?
Oh yeah. Well, what's the Carpenter goes to 15 innings, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, I just physically could not keep writing it on that page. I had already run out of pitchers. Like, you get 7 slots for pitchers. So I did go to a second page, and then emotionally, I would say we barely held it together. Like, from the 14th inning on, it's crazy because it was game 3 of the World Series. But it also a little bit turned into like one of those blowout broadcasts where we kind of had to, like, laugh at what was happening. Like, we couldn't. It was intense, but it wasn't. It was like it was mind-boggling. Like, it just felt like no one could win.
It was like, the longer it went on, I was like going, are we both going to run out of pitchers? Are they going to like pull somebody out of the stands here? Like, congratulations, you get the pitch to the next inning. Like, what's going to happen here?
Shane Bieber heated up that night. Like, they, they stretched everyone they had multiple innings. Like, even when the home run got hit off Little to end that game, he had already pitched a clean 17 or a scoreless 17th inning before that. So it was, it was a day. We were hot. I was in a suit for the whole World Series, and it was hot in LA. No one saw it. I don't know. I did it for me, but I don't know why, because we're on the radio. But I liked it.
Showed up in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt.
I know. No one would have known. But so I'm like sweating buckets at Dodger Stadium too. Maybe my favorite thing I've seen at any road ballpark. There's no. Not to get too TMI, but there's no bathroom near the broadcast booth.
No, there's
a very complicated situation in a 3-hour game where you have 2-minute breaks. Even a closed bathroom is a gamble sometimes. But there is a broom closet right behind the Dodgers TV booth. And I didn't do what you're thinking. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
But apparently, as the story goes, in the late days of Vin Scully, he asked, because they could, like, I'm sure in the early days he couldn't get to that bathroom in time. He asked if they could essentially fit that as a bathroom. So it's a broom closet with a toilet. It's not a bathroom, but it's just a broom closet with a functional sink and toilet. But there's still, like, cleaning supplies. I say all this to say, like, by the 18th inning, even the 13th and 14th, like, your throat's starting to hurt a little bit. We're also going on 9 months at this point. My sleep isn't great at this point. And so you're chugging waters to make sure your voice still sounds fine, but that catches up to you by the 12th or 13th. And so it's just every half inning, I'm just like zooming in and out of this broom closet, as are, I'm sure, the other 6 broadcast crews that are in our hallway. So it was like, that day was a complete scramble. I just remember honestly being like, I just want this game to end at a certain point. Like, I don't know if I can call the game tomorrow if we go to 25 innings. And so I was very nervous that my voice was not going to be up to snuff, but thankfully it was, so I can look back on it as by far the craziest game I've ever called in my life.
That's amazing.
So speaking of like visiting stadiums, as Mark can attest, you get your game day spread in the media room.
Yeah. All right, he's asking. I know where he's going with this.
Yeah. That's Ben. Who has the best media spread for you guys?
Okay,
across whatever level, doesn't even matter.
True. Okay, let me think. I will say I haven't been to every major league's media area. Immediately, what popped to mind is the New York Yankees do have a very solid spread. They do a good job with it. It's a big area. There's a lot of food, and so it's kind of a similar approach to the Jays approach, where I feel like they just have a lot of solid options, and that's kind of what I like. When places go for it all on one meal, if that meal isn't good, then it's a huge bummer. So that's one that sticks out. The best meal, though, that I've ever had media-wise, when I was in college, Syracuse is in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, so many Southeastern schools. And actually, this isn't even really that Southeastern, but Louisville football, I went to do a game, and they barbecue just so well there in Kentucky that they're like cutting you prime rib in the media room because they just like it grows on trees there. So that's one that I'll never forget. Like I walked into that room and was like, this is not the same as the usual that we get. This is a whole. This meal probably costs like $35 to $40 US that I have on my plate from a media room. Is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
What other great memories do you have from Syracuse? I guess what are some of the biggest things that stick out to you from your college days? And I guess how many sports did you do when you were at Syracuse?
It's good. I'd have to count because one of the great things about Syracuse, there's so many opportunities to do games. So I would have done men's and women's basketball, men's and women's lacrosse. Lacrosse is a huge sport there.
Yeah.
That was a ton of fun. I did hockey, soccer, field hockey, which was a new one for me. Softball, if you want to count that, is different than baseball. Didn't do any volleyball. So it might have been six. I think it's six different sports that I would have done there. No baseball at Syracuse, so I would do my baseball separately in the summer. But some of my favorite memories, I mean, just really cool. I was kind of only a fan of the teams fully the first year I was there because I tried to get involved in all the student media stuff after that. But the first year was a great year. The football team reached number 12 in the rankings. And so I remember, watching us pound Florida State, things that unfortunately are not that realistic right now for Syracuse football, or I saw us hit a game winner over Georgetown, our big historical rival, which was cool. But the biggest memories were just the events that I got to cover, I think, and going on those trips with all my buddies in school, calling stuff. I mean, a friend of mine and I got sent, very fortunately, from the school to go to the Bahamas because the men's and women's basketball team were both playing in the tournament there. So they sent us there, like two 20-year-olds getting sent to the Bahamas with no supervision was probably not a good idea by them, but it worked out for everyone.
Well, because you got to remember back in the States, legal drinking age of 21. So you guys going to the Bahamas says, hey,
exactly,
can't do anything as what's down here.
But that was great. I got to go do Super Bowl Media Week one year, which was really, really cool. Unfortunately, I did not get to go to the NCAA tournament the year that I was in fourth year and would have. We missed the tournament, but so many great memories, so many great people that I met there, and just a really fun environment. Like that was the first time I felt like I got to a place and people were really like challenging me to get better in a big way around me. They were like trying, it was competitive, but not in a mean-spirited way, essentially, where they were like, you can work harder and do better than that. Like I'm doing better than you right now. And so it was cool. It was really, really fun experience.
I really feel like broadcasting is kind of this environment where it's competitive, but at the same time, too, you have to approach it the right way. Like I can't just go and badmouth this guy and say, "Hey, I want his job, get his job." I got a reputation at that point, and then everybody just kind of looks down on you, and you don't really survive.
Yeah, I mean, I think I look at it two ways. Like kind of what you just said. I mean, I think you have to be nice to people and you have to be a good person to work with. I mean, we're all working in sports as opposed to something that's like less fun and probably has more tough days. If you're not going to have fun doing it and enjoy the people you're with, then you may as well just go work something with more stable hours, I would say. And also, to circle way back when I was talking about like how many great broadcasters there are, there's only 30, 60, whatever spots in each sport. There's way more people who deserve to be at the top level than that. There's no point, I think, of being competitive with one person. Like you're competing against so many people that you're almost not competing against anyone because it's so abstract. Like why I could undercut one guy. He might not even be up for the same jobs as me. Or even if he is, there could be 7 other people up for it. So I just think it's both. You shouldn't do it because you should be nice, but it's like counterproductive anyway. To me, there's no point in doing it. And thankfully I found that in school it was like that. And a lot of my great friends from there are now, the Blue Jays play the Yankees. One of my good friends from school is on their pre and post game show, or another guy's doing their Red Sox radio show. So I can be a rival to them in that way instead.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a tight knit community, and I love it.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. On top of doing the Blue Jays on a day-to-day basis, you also do Raptors 905. Tell me a little bit about just obviously your other ventures on top of the Blue Jays.
Yeah. So basketball would be the main sport that I have called professionally outside of baseball. Started actually the first ever thing I did for Sportsnet was a basketball event, and then someone I worked with on that event really helped me out in a huge way with Raptors 905. They were looking to reestablish their radio broadcast, and so I came in and did radio full-time for a year. And then since then, there was 1 year of kind of half radio TV. And now the last 2 years, me and Matt Cullen, who's one of the voices of the Ottawa Senators on the radio, we split the games on TV going back and forth, which works out great because he needs some time off for Senators. I need some time off for Blue Jays, and we share that together. And it's been really fun. I love basketball, always have. I feel like it's a great complement to baseball for me, where I'm very kind of like relaxed in the summer, and baseball I feel like is a very calming sport. And then when it's cold and I'm feeling a little sleepy, basketball kind of jolts me to life. Someone tries to destroy a rim and it really kind of gets you going. So it's been a ton of fun doing it. They're having a really fun year this year, and I've got to see a lot of the guys who are contributing for the Raptors over the last couple of years develop in that time. So that's been really fun. And then outside of that, a little bit of Canada basketball stuff too, which I just feel like anytime I'm just like addicted to watching, international best on best sports. So anytime you get to do that, it's the most fun.
Yeah, shout out Matt Cullen. I've run into him a couple of times in my OHL travels. Beautiful human being.
He's a man.
The other venture I wanted to ask about, March 10th. It's making its series premiere. I had to ask about it. Our own version of Rod Roddy is right in front of us. Price is Right tonight. How does that end up coming about for yourself? Do they just send you email and say, hey, you want to give this a shot kind of thing? I guess, how did that whole thing come together for you?
Yeah, that was, I'll be honest, and I just don't think I would have had like the confidence or like, frankly, even like hubris. Like I had no idea that this was a possibility for me. So I did not reach out to them. I had seen that Howie Mandel was hosting a new game show, and that was going to be airing here. And I thought that was cool, but was not on my radar at that point. And then got an email a couple weeks after the season, was just kind of in like my postseason morning on the couch, and got an email and was just like, wow. And I think I maybe even searched the name of the person who sent it to me just to make sure they actually were a Rogers employee, and I wasn't wasn't getting fished or something.
You're getting pumped by somebody that your dad knows or something like that.
Yeah, well, because it still seemed crazy. But once I met with them, they wanted to see if I was interested. I frankly had no idea if they would think I was good at it or terrible. I've never done anything like this. They've said nice things, so I hope that my part will be good in the show, but I still have no idea. Like I'm going to tune in and see if I think I stink or not, frankly. But it was such a fun experience. I mean, my dad, a big sports guy. My mom actually growing up watched a ton of game shows, and to this day, like rarely misses a Wheel of Fortune or anything like that. So game shows a big part of growing up too. And my parents, when they were younger, actually went to Bob Barker's Price is Right together. They didn't get on, they tried to, but so they both really enjoyed it. I think that I got on the show, and to get a look, like I'm in TV sometimes with Sportsnet, but it's such a different thing to get a look at that side of TV where there's set changes and we're doing, and there is a set, like a huge set, there's sets on Sportsnet Central, but like this massive set built for our show and all this, the wheel and all that stuff was surreal. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. And I don't have a great memory, so I don't remember what's happened in all the episodes. So I'm going to be rewatching a lot of them.
It's going to be spoiler free from Ben for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Probably a couple of non-disclosures in there to make sure you're not spoiling somebody's win.
Definitely.
Did somebody come at you with one of those Men in Black neuralizer or something? I can't remember what you had. Yeah.
But yeah, very cool experience.
Yeah. Working with Howie Mandel, what was that like?
Oh, awesome. I mean, I'll admit, like, I'm a little too young for like Bobby's World. Like, that's not everyone's coming up to him with Bobby's World, and he made that clear to me right away, because I was like, Howie, I used to watch so much Deal or No Deal of you, and he was like, you're way too young. But that's like the used to watch thing. But I did used to watch a lot of Howie Mandel, Deal or No Deal. I feel like that was maybe the most popular game show around at one point.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and so it's just like a legendary figure. And then I met him, and he was like a pretty normal guy. Even I feel like the germ thing was kind of overblown. He seemed to be I mean, he's not super into shaking your hand, but other than that, like, he put his hand on my shoulder right when I met him. He was very nice. You would have no idea that, like, he's an A-list celebrity and the rest of us are just frankly like people standing around. He was very cool. And hope to get to do it again with him on his season 2 at some point, because it was great. And even like had some family come down, and he had all the time in the world when we would see him in the hallway or something like that. He was very cool.
That's awesome. Favorite Price is Right game?
Favorite? Oh, I'm a sucker for Plinko. I also like Mountain Climbers. I forget exactly what we call that, which I should know.
I think it's called Cliffhanger or something.
Cliffhangers. There you go, with the yodelers.
Yeah.
It's probably Cliffhangers with the yodeler, I would say. It's just, you hear that song and I feel like
now it's not right. Now it's going to be stuck in my head for hours. Thanks, man.
I hear that yodeler and it takes me right back to the late 90s Bob Barker and and a thermometer in my mouth because I'm cough.
It's sick day tradition in Canada anyways. 11 o'clock for Price is Right. If you're lucky enough, CFTO at 12 for the Flintstones. Come on.
Oh man! Well, now you got Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady beforehand during the daytime nowadays, and game shows are just a lot of fun. They had the Game Show Network for the longest time. Still remember watching The Feud, Match Game. I think Password was one of those other games too.
Yeah, or even like they had this game like Lingo, which was kind of like Wordle before Wordle came out. They had you do Wordle on national TV, which was pretty scary.
I'm pretty sure TV Odd did a French version of that too.
Really?
I think so.
I would be in a lot of trouble in that version.
I don't know too many 5-letter French words, I'll tell you that.
No. And the ones I do know, I don't think we're allowed to say on the air. So
Oh man. Well, I gotta send this back to the Blue Jays, and just obviously with the pitchers and catchers reporting and just the 2026 season upon us. What do you make of the team as is right now? I know you lose Bo Bichette, you bring in a couple of guys. The pitching staff looks great in my opinion, but what do you think of what the Blue Jays look like right now?
Yeah, I think they look really good. I think a lot of people are either going to have them as the favorite or one of probably the top 2 favorites to win the American League in general. I think not just the American League East coming into the year. Bo Bichette is a big loss. I don't think there's any way around that, but I think the team is overall better. I don't think Okamoto's a 1-for-1 replacement for Bichette by any means. I don't think they're asking him to be, but I do think he helps insulate a little bit of that. And then, I mean, you're looking at, I think a way potentially like hugely improved rotation just because of the mix last year of just not a lot of health, and then some guys having some tough years, and bringing in a setup man, I think in Tyler Rogers really expands your bullpen too. If you can get a healthy Jimmy Garcia, you're knocking, him down to a 7th inning role, or you just have another guy for different profiles. And so I think you look at the team, and I think they're probably marginally on paper better than they were last year, if I had to guess. Now, still things have to go right for them, and on paper, we would not have guessed they were as good as they were in 2025. But I think that they improved the team overall in the offseason. I'm really interested to see how some of it plays, how Andres Jimenez at shortstop for a full year looks like, what the second years in a row for a Kirk or a Springer look like coming off those big years, what Okamoto looks like. Addison, a lot of people have a lot more tape on Addison Barger. I imagine they'll be focusing a lot more on him in lineup. So a lot of interesting stuff, but I think you look at the team and it's hard for me to not think the pitching is so much more stacked up than it was before, that the team is overall better, even if you lose a little bit or more than a little bit with losing Bo Bichette.
And I like that pitching. Just also you have a guy like Sam Green in the bullpen helping guys out there. Another IBLer. Sorry, CBLer. CBLer. I need to get that right.
Well, I don't know if you can like grandfather it in. Like they both counts if they were, because they were like kind of both. I don't know. Well, you guys can make the decision. It's not my call.
They keep saying the history is, still active, and if you win a CBL championship, you're adding to the IBL totals and whatnot. So
there you go.
I think if we say either one, I think we're in a good spot.
All right. Well, that's good.
Cool. Favorite Baycats memory?
Oh, that's a good question. Favorite Baycats memory? Probably doing the game with my dad, if I had to say. Sorry, I know we already talked about it, but
that was good.
That's the one that sticks out to me the most, I would say. I'm trying to think. I mean, the first year I wasn't able to be there for the playoffs, and so the second year I still wasn't able to ride out the whole thing, but being able to do some playoff games was pretty cool. But yeah, if I had to choose one, I still think the Father's Day game is probably the one that I return to the most, or find myself returning to the most.
Okay. Was it mainly home games that you did, or you did a few on the road?
It was mostly. I do remember one time, I definitely did a game in London. And I actually have a lot of my family lives in London, so that was cool. They got to go see.
I didn't take the game. Pretty upset.
Or
if I did, I would have given a nuke at that time of my career.
Yeah, it's good that the 0 ERA in that game. But I remember that being a big memory for me, just because that ballpark is awesome. I mean, just a really cool park. I think at the time probably would have been one of, if not my favorite in the league. So I did do a little travel, but not that much. I didn't have my own car, and I didn't have, and I was a little bit out of the way. So if it lined up with how a player was driving, or I could steal my mom's car for a little bit, I could do some extra ones, but I kind of negotiated for the home games and then figured out the rest.
Was it like a big setup back then? I still remember doing the 2021 Panthers season, and our setup was literally an iPad. It operated as the camera, as well as the scorebug operator, as well as the main thing, the interface to actually stream the game. And I had a little handheld mic, and that was it. What were you working with?
Well, you had a leg up on me for having video, I will say, because I think there was one or two teams that had started putting in a little video when I was there, but it still was not very widespread at all.
No.
I had my computer, and I had a sound. Dante had given me basically old equipment that he wasn't using anymore.
Yeah.
So I had a soundboard, 2 headsets in case my one broke, and the soundboard plugged right into my computer, and then plug the headset right in. And so it was great because it packed up in a little case and it was easy to move around, but it was essentially as bare bones as I could be to get on the air, because there wasn't necessarily a lot of infrastructure. There was certainly no linear radio station or anything else to put it on. So it was just, if I can get it into my computer, I can get it out to the air somehow.
So we just, though, like,
I think it is these days.
Grinding, now you know.
Yeah, I think it's good to sometimes have a little less, like I do. I mean, it's good, and there's pros and cons, I think. But for where I was in my career, I was very young. I think if I was 17, I might have been trying to do too much with a camera like that. What I needed to learn very foundational stuff, and like I needed to be a little uncomfortable. Probably, I think it's good. It's not. There's so many amazing, fun things about the job. Like you're not going to sleep the most of everyone you know. You're not going to hang out with your friends the most of anyone you know. All those things, like your social life is not going to be as vibrant as a lot of people you know. And so, like, I think it's good to, to be driving out there, to be the only one of your friends at 16 at times who's worried about audio equipment. I think it prepares you so that you're okay with some of the sacrifices you'll make later. And it kept me focused. Like I was just worried about mechanics of calling a game. There's nothing else for me. Now, would I've loved a video broadcast? I certainly would have said yes to one then, but I think in hindsight, it might have been good for me to have less to worry about and just more games to call. But the league, as we've discussed, was also in a very different spot, I think, than it is right now.
It's in a great spot now. It's mandated that we have to have like 2 or 3 cameras minimum now at all the stadiums. Everything's on YouTube now, and well, minus Hamilton, we got to get them back on YouTube. Love Cable 14, but
don't get me fired again. Come on.
I didn't know the first time, man.
It's a joke.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for doing this. And obviously the Blue Jays are coming right up, and the busy time is coming up for you very, very soon, within the next couple of weeks. And spending a little bit of time with us is very much appreciated.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. Really appreciated it too.
Ben Shulman, the play-by-play voice of the Toronto Blue Jays on Sportsnet 590. The Fan, former Barrie Baycats play-by-play voice, the voice of Raptors 905, and you'll be able to hear him on The Price is Right tonight, premiering March 10th on City TV. This has been another episode of the CBL Change-Up. We'll see you next time.